Very good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Crack Grade B. So today, wait for a second. Yeah. So today we are going to start the scheme on Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Day before yesterday, we discussed about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, right? But we had not completed the discussion at that particular time. So let's start with it. Very good morning. Yeah. So day before yesterday, I was telling you that we are going to take a discussion on this, that how does this particular structure works. So I'm going to start with it. See, the thing is, recent budget announcements have been given a separate lecture, right? So these particular schemes are updated till the budget provisions. Budget provisions are separate and you need to study them separately. Okay. Now moving to our schemes. So these were the subsidy which I was going to discuss under this particular scheme. We are providing the subsidy to low income group, EWS, middle income group as well as the middle income group category number 2. How we are differentiating all of them? On the basis of income, obviously. The thing which you need to understand over here is the subsidy. 6.5%, 6.5%, 4% and 3%. This particular subsidy is on the interest rate. Whatever interest rate is being charged by the member lending institution, on that particular interest rate, the government is going to provide you the subsidy. 6.5% is the subsidy for the lower income group. Why? Because obviously lower income group are not having the enough income and therefore the subsidy percentage for them is at the most. And the least subsidy percentage is for the middle income group category number 2. Next thing is area up to this particular thing, there is nothing to understand and maximum tenure is already given. The one thing which I want to add over here is that these particular subsidies as well as the assistance that is being provided, this is being provided for construction, renovation as well as addition. Suppose you want to add 1 or 2 rooms, correct? You already have a house but you want to add 1 or 2 rooms. So this particular subsidy applies over that area too. Moving ahead. Talking about few more things. So central assistance at the rate of 1.5 lakh per EWS house would be available for all the EWS houses in such projects. An affordable housing project. So it happens, right, that we are developing a township or we are developing so many houses together. Such projects you might also have seen at the outskirts of your city, that a developer is developing so many houses in just one locality, right? So if there is such kind of affordable housing project, then government will provide you the assistance if at least 35% of the houses in the project are for EWS category and the single project has at least 250 houses. At least you should be constructing, you should be developing 250 houses in that particular area, and out of that 35% should be belonging to for EWS category. If it is so, then government is going to provide you the assistance for that particular project as well. Moving ahead. Beneficiary-led individual house construction or enhancement. If beneficiary is himself constructing it, then he is eligible for a central assistance of 1.5 lakh for the construction of new house under the mission. Such beneficiaries should be the part of Housing for All plan of action. Now next is affordable rental housing complexes for a migrant worker and urban poor. So this was the scheme which was so much into the discussion during the times of COVID as well. Why? Because we have seen the problems of migrant workers who were working in different states of our country. At the time of COVID, they were not having any dwelling unit for themselves. They were not having a house of themselves in the area of their employment. So for them, this particular scheme has been brought in. What is this? Affordable rental housing complex. That means here these particular type of complexes are also covered over here. You see, the beneficiary is not owning these particular houses. The intention of construction of these particular houses is to give them on rent. Such kind of houses are also covered under it, and using existing housing stocks or incentivizing the private or public agencies for the construction of these rental houses. Then now onwards, there are few of the sub schemes under this particular mission that you need to remember. So all the major component we have already covered. Now what we are going to cover is there are small components of this particular scheme, like a web portal is there. Another scheme is there under which we are trying to copy, or not copy, but what we are trying to do is we are trying to import the new technologies which are there under the construction market, so that we can develop our buildings at the international level of scale. That means, suppose we all know that in Japan, Japan is prone to earthquakes, right? Because the geography of Japan is such that they cannot deny the earthquakes as well as the tsunami. So what they have done in order to prevent is they have made their buildings resilient. Resilient means even if there is a earthquake of 8 frequency, even after that their buildings will not budge. So this is the kind of technology that we also need in India. Whenever we are developing any kind of building in India, we want it for obviously earthquake resilient. After that, we want that it should be having a super efficient sewage treatment, right? Apart from that, other things like it should have the airy space, and it should be promoting the sustainable living. So how you will develop a good house to live in a small area? So this can happen when you are inventing new technologies, and when you are implementing those particular technologies. So these are all the things that we are going to study further on. Now let's discuss a short information regarding National Urban Housing Fund 2018. This is a fund for 60,000 crore. It is situated in Buildings Material and Technology Promotion Council. It is an autonomous body which has been registered under the Societies Registration Act. What the purpose of this particular fund is? It will facilitate raising requisite funds in next 4 years, so that flow of central assistance under different verticals of PM Awas Yojana goes continued. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to support the central assistance over here. So this is just a vertical for that. Now moving ahead with the robust MIS system. So a comprehensive and robust MIS system. What is MIS? MIS Management Information System. What is Management Information System? If your workers are doing something, then management should have information of it, right? So workers, whenever they do something, they create a data for it, and then that data is presented to the management. So this is a crude definition of MIS. So in this particular scheme, how we are going to keep a watch, or how the government is going to keep a watch on this particular scheme's progress. So we have these 3 tools, not we, but government has these 3 tools. Number 1 is Umang mobile app. Number 2, Niti Aayog dashboard, and next is DBT Bharat portal for dissemination of information. So if you want to know the information, or anyone who wants to know the information about the operation of this particular scheme, they can access the following platforms. What is Umang mobile app? So Umang mobile app is unified mobile application for new age governance, right? So this is a mobile application which tells you about the governance related progress about the various schemes in your locality or which are suitable to your interest. So these are the three platforms, online platforms, which will help you to monitor as well as see the progress of this particular scheme, that is our PM Awas Yojana. Moving ahead to a particular web portal that has been developed for this particular scheme. So CLAP, that is CLSS Awas portal. It is a web-based monitoring system. It is a common platform where all stakeholders, that is Ministry of Housing, central nodal agencies, primary lending institutions, as well as the beneficiary and citizens are integrated in the real-time environment. Next is, so in the all of the budget that we are providing to this particular scheme, 5% of that particular budget will go for capacity building, information education and communication, as well as other expenses under the PM Awas Yojana. Sometime when you are visiting or any other city or anything, you might have seen that government always tries to market, or in order to increase the education of citizens, they put up the posters or the banners regarding particular schemes, right? So by doing this, this is just one technique to disseminate information. You can disseminate an information about any particular scheme by going house to house, right? By doing such kind of marketing gimmicks. You can also run an advertisement on the television, right? That is also allowed. And apart from that, in the common setup, like through panchayats and all those things, you can do, what you can do is you can impart the information about this particular scheme so that citizens are aware about it. So 5% of the total budget under this particular scheme is being provided for all these educational activities as well as the capacity building activities, right? Moving ahead to the Angikar, a campaign for change management. So you might have seen that there are always a better way to do the work, right? There are two persons, A and B. Person A is also doing the same task, person B is also doing the same task, but person A has organized all of his tools. He already know that what thing has to perform. He has learned about the tricks and techniques of the shortcuts, right? And then there is person B. He is not aware about his tools. He has not learned any short tricks, right? He is just doing the work. Apart from it, after doing work, he is also going on the breaks and all of those things, right? In totality, Mr. B does not know how to do the work efficiently. He is not keen on watching other people's. He is not keen on learning new technologies. So this person B will obviously suffer, and his quality of work as well as the timing of performance will be poor as comparison to Mr. A. So here under PM Awas Yojana, what we are trying to bring a change management. Change management means we want to adopt the best practices. Best practices in relation to water, energy conservation, waste management, health, sanitization, hygiene, etc. for beneficiaries through community mobilization and the information, educational and communication related activities. I don't know whether you have seen or not, there have been a campaign that was run on TV few years back by Akshay Kumar, right? So this was the campaign on PM Swachh Bharat. There they were in the TV ad, what they were trying to teach is that all those houses in the village setup, that those were not connected to a sewer pipeline. So they were telling that they should be having 2 pits for their toilets. So if one pit is full, then they start utilizing the second one, and meanwhile the first pit will get converted into the compost and all those things, right? So this is a very good example of following the best practices. We know that there are no sewer lines across all the villages in India, but we have to find a formula to overcome that particular drawback, and this was that formula for you. So the best practices are different for water as well as energy conservation, waste management. We have got so many best practices, and hence the Angikar campaign, what you have to learn is the Angikar campaign is under which particular scheme, and what is the purpose of this campaign. So this purpose, the purpose of this particular campaign is to bring the change management in the adoption of the scheme, and obviously all those relevant ministry, they are part of this particular mission, like Housing Affairs Ministry, obviously they have to be here, Health and Family Welfare, Jal Shakti, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, New and Renewable Energy, Petroleum, Natural Gas, Power, Youth Affairs and Sports, and Women and Child Development. So I also remember that PCRA is an organization under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. They always disseminate how to preserve or how to not waste the petroleum, your petrol, diesel as well as the natural gas. They give us the informations regarding that. Like one of the best practices regarding this is that you should switch off your engines at the red light. So these are the messages which are given to the community, so that community can adopt them and they can follow the best practices. I hope you people also have seen all the ads that were run by PCRA. Have you, or am I the only one? So see over here, next one is the technology submission. Technology submission, what we are doing over here is we are trying to develop the new particular technologies. So the purpose of this is in order to have integrated approach for comprehensive technical and financial evaluation of emerging as well as the proven building materials, their standardization, developing specification, code of practices as well as evolving necessary tendering process are the components of this particular submission. The mission statement is sustainable technology solutions we want to find for faster and cost-effective construction of the houses that is suitable to the geoclimatic as well as the hazard conditions of the country. So for with this, I remember there is one particular innovation related to the building material. So can you tell me, there are so many innovations regarding building material. You can tell me any one of them. I am going to tell you one, and you will also find out what are the new innovations in it, right? So this could be your GK. So this is not an innovation, but this is the use of existing material. Fly ash. I hope that you all are aware about fly ash. Fly ash is a residue product that you get once you burn out the coals for production of electricity in the power plants, right? Thermal power plants. So what happens is this fly ash is rich in so many elements like silica, aluminium, and this is a very good material in order to build roads, along with in order to build the, what you can say, the bricks for building your projects, residential projects, commercial projects, anything. So this is a very good material. So this particular material has been researched on. Now the criterias were also led that okay, we are going to utilize this fly ash in the building related technologies. So this was the one innovation, and we under the technology submission, we are always eyeing on such kinds of innovations so that we can improve our building related technology. Moving ahead, next is Global Housing Technology Challenge. Now in a simple word, what are we trying to do over here is Global Housing Technology Challenge. That means we want to follow international best practices. whatever best practices that are going on internationally in relation to buildings, we want to learn it, we want to adapt it, but with a national twist, right? So suppose the building related innovations which are happening in the North Pole countries, they are doing so because they are prone to snow as well as these ice and all those things, right? The climatic conditions are different over here. So whenever we are adopting such particular technology in India, we will see that whether we need this technology in India or not. And this is not just related to your building material. This is related to how to manage this your sewerage related pipelines, right? How to better manage the water resources, how to better manage the energy related resources. So I am remembering of one particular scheme. The scheme name was Lotus HR, something like that. Lotus HR, something like that. This was the acronym for the scheme, and this particular scheme was with the in alliance of Netherlands, right? So, and I remember this particular scheme was for the sewage pipeline or sewage water treatment plant. This was in relation with that. So this is how we are going to associate with the international agencies, international organizations, so that we can develop as well as maintain the practices here in India. Now reading about it, Global Housing Technology Challenge, what it is. So we want to follow the international best practices. That is it. Now moving ahead to the theory component. So GHTC India was first launched in 2019 with applications available for proven and promising innovations and registrations for participation in the Grand Expo and conferences. Why we are doing it? So the aim is to find and mainstream, that means adopt internationally proven building technologies that are energy efficient, sustainable, as well as the disaster resistance, to allow a radical transformation in the affordable housing. So even in India, we have got so many climatic conditions that the map is not accurate, but I hope that you will do with it. So in India, we have got different conditions in different areas. Like this particular areas is earthquake prone, right? This particular areas is the areas over here. We are facing the problems of drought, correct? And the temperatures are soaring high over here. So the building technologies for all these different areas should be different. Moving ahead, three components of this particular GSTC India are there. Number one is, Number one is Grand Expo and Conference. So it is organized biannually. Biannually means once in 2 years. So to provide a platform to all stakeholders, whosoever is having housing construction, for the exchange of knowledge and business. You might have seen that we also conduct expos on the defense, so that various nations and those whosoever is having great technologies regarding defense, they can come up, they can show, and if we are interested in any one of them, we can adopt it, we can purchase it, right? Or we can develop it together. So defense expos, I hope that you must have heard about it. On the same lines, we have got building technology related expos as well. This is one of the component under GSTC India. Next is proven demonstrable technologies for the construction of lighthouse projects. So these projects demonstrate the merits of the selected technologies, and they serve as live laboratories. So first of all, let's understand what are the lighthouse projects. Suppose you have done the expo, right? You have learned about the technology. Now you have to implement that particular technology, right? Somewhere you have to test that technology whether it is working for you or not. So this is being done through lighthouse projects. Lighthouse projects are means, you must have seen that in the older times the lighthouses were used in order to guide the ships on their pathways. So this is the same thing here. These lighthouse projects which we will be developing by using the technologies, they will be the breakthrough and they will guide the future constructions that will be happening in our India. So lighthouse projects means the beginner project or the project with which we are testing the technology. Once we have tested it, once they have been developed successfully, then now it means we can do the construction further on. So these are called as the lighthouse projects. There is no another meaning for that. Don't be confused regarding it. And next is, so your second component you have understood. Now moving ahead with the third component. So potential future technologies for incubation and acceleration support. For this we have got this particular component called as the ASHA, Affordable Sustainable Housing Accelerators India program. So what does this actually means, I'll tell you. So whenever you get hand on any particular technology, you just can't you cannot start production right away with it, or you cannot start building the projects along with it. What you have to do is, if you have known for any particular technology, like let's simplify it. So you know that cryogenic engine is very crucial for our missiles, right? But India did not have it earlier. We got some sort of support from the Russia. Russia helped us in this particular engine, cryogenic engine related models. But at the end, India had to develop this particular engine on their own. But this took us a long time. We had to do the research, we had to do the testings, right? All of it, we had to done it on ourselves. For doing all these kinds of research and everything, obviously ISRO was the organization for it. Government of India gave the financial support, right? So this means this is called as incubation. When you are developing a new particular technology, you need an environment where funding does not stop. You have all the equipments that are necessary for you in order to test. So this is called as incubation and acceleration related support that we are going to provide under this particular ASHA India program. Under ASHA India, if you have got any new particular business building related technology, then you are welcome. We are going to provide you the hand holding support. You can test your technologies under this particular program, right? We are going to provide you the funding. We are going to provide you the instruments. All of it will be provided and you can do the research. Now talking about the lighthouse projects. So lighthouse projects means you got the technology, now you are implementing it. You are developing the first projects with that particular technology. Hence we are calling them as lighthouse projects that will be guiding the future construction of buildings in India. Okay, so we have got a query. Okay, so the question is that, are you intentionally making tough videos for those who have not enrolled in your course? RBI Grade B asks objective questions, then why you are teaching these subjective points? Okay, let me answer you for that. First of all the energy which I am spending on giving all of these lectures for you, I don't think that you will be finding it somewhere else. Next thing is, why I'm explaining these subjective points. It's whenever you are reading any particular scheme, I can go on. Okay, this is lighthouse projects and I'll just give the theory explanation of it, and I'll just move on. Then one of you will start commenting on the video, then someone will might say that, ma'am, why you are just reading it? Please explain it. We want to understand it. So this might be your point of view that I am making it tough. It is completely optional if you want to watch it or not. I'm brutally honest over here. And one more thing, RBI asks objective questions, but there is a thing with the human memory. Human memory understands those concepts well if they know in detail about it. So what I'm trying to do over here is I want to build your concept, I want to build your foundation, and once you know the scheme very well, then it will be only easier for you to learn the factual concepts as well. Whenever I'm reading the schemes, let's take an example of PM Awas Yojana. In the initial topic, I have told you all the factual details. RBI asks objective question, but RBI sometimes goes in depth as well. And these are not just for the RBI, these are for everyone who are giving different exams, right? So if you do not want to watch it, please don't. Moving ahead. Lighthouse projects were launched under the Global Housing Technology Challenge India. Now, if I'll not explain what are lighthouse projects is, someone might come and they'll say that, ma'am, we do not know the meaning of it. So what is the point of just reading the document if you cannot explain them? Okay. Now let's focus over here. So Lighthouse projects was launched under Global Housing Technology Challenge India at 6 different sites across 6 states in India. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to implement the technology over here. Now, if in the RBI examination the question is being asked that, okay, Lighthouse project is under which particular scheme, and if you know the intent behind this particular component, then you will be easily able to guess that, okay, this is under PM Awas Yojana. Moving ahead. 6 lighthouse projects consisting about 1,000 houses each with physical and social infrastructure facilities are being constructed at 6 places across the country. One is Agartala, Ranchi, Lucknow, Indore, Rajkot and Chennai. People have provided with sustainable housing considering the local climate and the ecology. So we will be watching that, okay, the type of houses that we have to construct in Rajasthan or Delhi are different with the type of houses we should be constructing in the Ladakh and the Himachal, right? So the different areas require the different components regarding the building technology as well as the building material. Moving ahead to a small scheme, not that much point to be discussed over here. Just few of the components so that if this particular schemes appear, then you are able to answer it. Now please give me a second. Yes. So smart cities mission. Under this particular mission, I'll be moving quickly, right? You will be getting few of the factual points that you need to remember and then you will be sorted. There is nothing much to be discussed under this particular scheme. So it was launched in 2015. Initially, till 2020, the period of implementation of this particular component has been extended up to June 2023. The target are 100 cities. So in India, we have got more than 4,000 cities as well as the towns, right? But we have chosen the most important 100 cities for implementation of this particular smart city scheme. Now the funding pattern over here is, number one thing which you have to remember is that it is a centrally sponsored scheme, and the central government proposes to give financial support to the mission up to the extent of 48,000 crores over the 5 years, with the average of 100 crore per city per year. The equal amount on matching basis have to be contributed by the state and the urban local bodies as well. So that means you have to remember, yes, it is a centrally sponsored scheme, but what we have understood, that is a 60-40 thing, that is not over here. Moving ahead, implementing agencies, there will be at city level, there will be a special purpose vehicle. Now what is special purpose vehicle? It will be a company that will be formed under the Companies Act, right? In this particular company, state UTs and the urban local bodies will be the promoters having 50-50 equity share holdings. Urban local bodies, municipal corporations, etc., they'll be having a 50% ownership in it, and the state government will also be having ownership. That means governments as well as the implementers both are coming together to form a special purpose vehicle in order to implement the components of this particular mission. Next is, what is the intention of this particular scheme? We want to provide inclusive cities that provide core infrastructure and give a decent quality of life to its citizens. Now, strategic components of smart city mission is, this is an area-based development. City improvements will be done, city renewal, as well as the extension of greenfield development. Greenfield development means what? That you are developing something for the first time. Brownfield development means there is an existing infrastructure and you are just changing in it. That is called as a brownfield development. Greenfield development, like for example, developing an affordable housing project on the outskirts of the city. So this is a greenfield development. Greenfield development means developing something new. Retrofitting, city renewal, that means changing in the infrastructure of the city. If you feel like that, okay, in some area this is congested, so what are the planning related changes, what are the traffic related changes that you will be doing in order to renew it or in order to retrofit it? So the core issue is, you want to improve the economicability, sustainability, as well as to achieve the concept of smart cities. It is woven around the 6 principles. What are those 6 principles? Not that much important, but just have a look on it. The 6 principles are, community should be at the core. Obviously, what we are doing for is all for the citizens that are living. Next is more from less, using less resources and giving the more output out of it. Cooperative and competitive federalism, that means you are going to cooperate with the union government as well as the states that are in neighbors of you. That means you are going to learn the different kind of technologies, but at the same time that there should be a spirit of competition as well. Whenever we have a healthy spirit of competition, we want to compete with them. So this is what happens: integration, innovation, technology as a means, as well as the convergence. Moving ahead to the Amrit mission. Amrit mission is the Atal mission for regeneration and the urban transformation. So here we are going to read the first part of it. Then now, till the year 2025 and 26, we have got another component for the Amrit. The intentions are same, right? In the smart cities mission, we want to digitally develop as well as the change the city plans and all those things. In the Amrit mission, you will see that we are focusing on the drinking water, we are focusing on the sewage, we are focusing on the infrastructure and all of those things. So it was launched in 2015. This has completed its period in March 2020, right? The Amrit 1.0, this has completed its tenure till March 2020, but this was extended for 2 more years till 2022. The focus was on 500 cities. Purpose for this particular Amrit mission was that every household should have access to a tap as well as the sewage connection. Increase the amenity value of the cities by developing the greenery and developing open spaces. You want to develop public transport so that people should leave their personal transport and they should switch on the public transport, because obviously this leads to decrease in the population in the cities. Next is, what is the outlays that we are providing? 50,000 crores are being provided for 5 years. Again, this is a centrally sponsored scheme. Thirst areas means the focus areas are water supply, sewage, stormwater drainage to reduce flooding, non-motorized urban transport, as well as the green spaces or parks. Non-motorized urban transport means like developing a specific lane for the cycling, right? For walkers. So all those specific lanes should be developed in order to reduce the pollution levels. So the coverage we have already seen, there should be 500 cities will be taken up. This includes all cities and towns with a population of over 1 lakh with notified municipalities, all capital cities, towns of states not covered in above, all cities, towns that are classified as heritage cities under the RBI scheme. So this particular scheme was for the development of heritage cities. This was also launched by Ministry of Housing. 13 cities and towns on the stem of main rivers with a population above 75,000 but less than the 1 lakh, like cities which are on the banks of Ganga, Yamuna as well as Brahmaputra, right, Godavari. So 10 cities from the hill states, island, tourist destination, not greater than 1 from each state. So here what we are trying to do over here is, before 2014 there was another mission called as Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. This got replaced with the Amrut. This was launched as the Amrut mission. Objectives, nothing specifically was changed, just the name was changed and few more components were inserted among it. So the objectives of this is modern, transparent budgeting, accounting as well as financial management, city-wide framework for planning and governance, universal access to the basic urban services, financially self-sustainable agencies for the urban governance, like your municipalities, municipal corporation. Most of the times they are running into the losses. Why? Because the single important, that I'll not say that it is the only source of revenue, but the single most important source of revenue for your municipalities or municipal corporation is property tax. And let me tell you, because of the few infrastructure related delays or related to your organizational setup, there are few problems in the municipalities. Because of that, they are not able to collect enough property tax as much as they should. So when they are not collecting the revenue, obviously they are falling into the losses, and hence one of the objectives of this particular mission is that we should be having thriving urban agencies or for the urban governance. There should be transparent governance, and e-governance is obviously the utmost important component of it. 65 cities were covered under this particular scheme, and later on this was for the period of 2005 to 2012 and later got extended till 2014. Now talking about the Amrut 2.0. So Amrut 2.0, before starting this particular scheme, I would like to tell you that please watch it on your own risk. This is a lengthier part of this particular mission, right? We are going to see so many theoretical concepts, and if you would like to leave any of them for your future examinations, you can choose not to watch it. So this is the disclaimer. Now everyone who is interested in watching the longer scheme, they should be continuing. So Amrut Mission 2.0, it was launched on 1st October 2021. Duration is from 2022 to till the year 2025 to 26. The target is again 500 cities. So what the aim is to make around 4,700 towns and cities water secure. See, water scarcity is the major problem that we are facing currently in India. There have been in Delhi, Chennai and all these cities, they have been came to a 0 day. 0 day means the day at which there was no water for in order to fulfill all the city's requirement. You might have seen the water trains running to the Chennai. So we are actually facing the water scarcity, and I do not remember the specific statistics, but it is being said that till the year 2030 we will be too much water scarce, right? The water availability will go seriously down, and hence this mission is important. So type outlays is 2,99,000 crores including central outlay for 5 years. Separate funding of 22,000 crores for ongoing projects of Amrut till March 2023. The objective is to provide 100% coverage of water supply to all households in the 4,700 urban local bodies by providing 2.68 crores urban households tap connection, thereby benefiting around 10 crores people. So you see, the water has been made a specific component of it, because obviously the water that we need is too much important. But I'll not be able to complete this particular scheme today, so I'm halting it right now. And one thing which I would like to convey to you is that I might have answered it in a rude way, but the thing is that whenever you are giving examination for any competitive exam, you have seen that sometimes these examinations go into a depth, and for that depth you must be knowing about the factual components, but along with it you should be knowing the intent or the aim of that particular scheme. This is very easy for me to just going to read the document and just close the lecture. I can do that very easily, but I am choosing not to do that. Some days I do that when I think that there is nothing to explain in certain ministries or certain schemes. I do that because I understand that there is nothing to explain, and I should not be giving various theories just to in order to make you understand. If with relation to any topic I feel like you already might be having a certain basic understanding, then I just go with that particular topic. But the schemes like where I feel like that it is necessary to explain, so I do that, right? So with all these intentions, the intention is always that you should be learning the schemes properly, and still all the constructive points are always welcome, but not like this that this is just an objective exams. So if you are reading it, just see the competition. What is the competition level? If you are reading like an ordinary person who is just watching this, I can make these schemes shorter as well, but then they'll not be useful for you. So just understand the logic behind it, and thank you. So I was not giving you a lecture, but I was trying to explain the intentions behind it. You might have felt that way, but can't do without explaining where I feel like. So thank you so much for watching this particular lecture. Do tune in. Tomorrow we are going to complete Amrit 2.0 along with few other schemes, right? Thank you so much.